The Turn 4 Perspective. Weekly dirt racing news brought to you by Brooke John Peer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 6 of the Turn 4 Perspective. It's hard to believe we're already at episode 6, but we are, and as always, I have the latest racing news in the dirt track world for all of you. So without further ado, let's jump right in. First up on our list is the NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. They had a show on Friday and Saturday at the Dirt Oval at Route 66 Raceway. On Friday night, Aaron Reitzel won, and on Saturday, Buddy Kofoid won. Now, with the points race coming to an end, with just a couple weeks away being the Dirt Track World Finals at the Dirt Track at Charlotte, Buddy Kofoid is making a name for himself and is working his way up the points. He's had really great finishes for the entire season during the course of 2024. And not only that, but he might have a pretty good shot at this championship. Now, I know that David Gravel was in the points lead for a very long time, but he hasn't been getting such great finishes lately. So that doesn't really reflect great on him. But he is working his way up the ranks, so to speak. So he is coming back, but it is a close race between him, Carson Macedo, and Buddy Kofoid. So it'll be really interesting to see at Charlotte and these next couple races until Charlotte, who's going to make their way to the top. Lately, it's been Buddy Kofoid. Will he be able to get enough wins and finishes better than both Macedo and Gravel to take the championship? We'll just have to wait and see. Next up is the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, of where they had their championship at Eldora Speedway on Thursday and Friday. On Thursday, it was Ricky Thornton Jr. who won, and on Friday, it was Bobby Pierce who won, and Ricky Thornton Jr. came in third. But Ricky Thornton Jr., due to all his finishes during the course of the racing season, went and won the Lucas Oil Super Late Model Championships. Now, the World of Outlaws Case Construction Late Models did not have a race this week, as all the drivers were at Eldora to compete for the race there. And as we can see, one Lucas Oil driver won, and as he was there to compete for the championship as well, but he was there. And on the other night, a World of Outlaws driver won. So it's very interesting to see how the drivers compare with each other. And, you know, both series, both divisions have their drivers. They are very well, they race well together, and both are talented. Unlike High Limit Racing and the World of Outlaws, though, I believe these two late model series are more even with each other. I believe the competitors are more even. I feel like they're more well-balanced with each other, whereas the high-limit drivers, in my personal opinion, are a little bit higher than the World of Outlaws. And then, but that also depends on the certain tracks that they go to. You know, out on the West Coast, I feel like the World of Outlaws drivers are better, but on the East Coast, I feel like high-limit drivers are better. So it really depends on where you're at. When with the late models, I feel like they're all even, no matter where they're at. So I just feel like that's really interesting. Now, moving on to the Short Track Super Series. So they were supposed to be at Port Royal Speedway for a Thursday through Saturday show, but it got postponed. I don't know when that's going to take place again. I have not seen any updates on it, but all I know is that it was postponed, so there should be an update coming out about that soon. So I will keep you all updated. Next up, and our last series for the week, as everyone's preparing, has already had their championships, or there's just nothing going on, is the American Sprint Car Series. They were at Riverside International Speedway, and this was a race that was postponed from September 27th. So it was a makeup race, and it was on Friday and Saturday, and on both days, Derek Hagar swept the race weekend and won both times. and at the same track of where he made a historical record. I believe he won 2 times in a row or something. Like, not this win, but like on the same day or something. I'm not exactly sure what the record was, but he did have a certain record that he broke, which is really interesting to see. So that happened with the America Sprinter Series on Friday and Saturday. Now, that's it for the results of this episode, but for the drama of the episode, we have some interesting info. So going back to the late models, there's a rumor that Josh Richards is coming back to late model racing. Now, if you don't know who Josh Richards is, he was a GOAT back in the day, and he raced with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series and World of Outlaws. I believe he did race with both. But he was really good. He knew what he was doing. He won multiple championships, multiple massive races. He was someone that everyone, knew and knows about. But the most interesting thing is that he's supposed to be going to Rocket One Racing, and that Brandon Sheppard, who is leaving his team after the dirt track at Charlotte, they're going to be teaming up at Rocket One Racing. If this is the case, this is going to be very interesting because Brandon Sheppard was originally with Rocket One Racing, but I believe Tim McCready is with them now. So what's going to happen to Timmy? Is Timmy going to get kicked out? I'm not entirely sure. It really makes you think because Josh Richards, is a great driver and great talent, and so is Brandon Sheppard. But the whole swap with Brandon Sheppard leaving Rocket One and Tim McCready going in, I believe it was 3 years ago or something. It's really interesting that the rumor is that he's going to go back. Do they realize the potential that Sheppard has? Do him and Richards even really know each other that well? These are the questions that are really interesting, and I can't wait to have answered and report back on it to you guys. So my final tidbit of the day, which is even more drama and goes back to High Limit Racing Series may not be around as long as we think it might be, is that Spencer Basin is leaving CJB Motorsports. But instead of completely leaving the motorsports world, or I should say the high limit racing world, he's going to Jason Meyer Racing and becoming teammates with Corey Day. Now, this is really interesting because Corey Day was one of the better high limit racing drivers there was. And Spencer Baston did pretty good during the season. I think his best finish might have been a second or third. He didn't win as far as I'm aware of, but it'll be interesting to see 2 14s out on the track. I'm not entirely sure what number he will be. I know he was number 5. He was number 5 with the true timber camo on his car, but I don't know if he'll be 14S, 14B, or whatever he's planning on doing. But he is going to Jason Meyer Racing, and he is going to be teammates with Corey Day, and he is leaving CJB Motorsports. So he is still staying with High Limit as far as I can see, as far as I can tell. He's not leaving High Limit, unlike James McFadden. But it is interesting to see all of the stuff that's going on as the seasons come to a close, as the off season kicks in. All the drama that's going on. It's just really interesting to me. And that's why I report on it to you guys. But anyway, that is all that I have for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, I will continue to bring you the latest dirt track racing news as I get it. This episode is a little bit shorter, but it is long enough of which I believe that you guys should be satisfied. So please continue to send feedback. Please continue to support me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all next week.